Alright, hello there, internet. Let me just, okay, it's as good as it's gonna get. Yep, so today, since it's a terrible day, it's actually snowing outside, right out there, even though I was hoping it was gonna be summer. I need some real good beer to be happy today. So I decided to have a bottle of my favorite beer style, which is Oude Gueuze. Now, some people might have heard a lot of different pronunciations of this word. That's because Belgium is a country with several languages. So you got both Flemish and French and some Dutch. So there is often different pronunciations of words. That's my understanding. So, you know, if you don't say it the way I do, we might both be right. That's just how it is. But anyway, I'm gonna try to be a bit quick about it. I'll probably write more about it on the blog, but a Gueuze is a blend of lambic. And a lambic is a spontaneously fermented Belgian ale, which means that no yeast is added to the beer. Beer is allowed to cool overnight and absorbs and is contaminated by wild yeast from the surrounding air. So in a finished lambic, you'll find things like Lactobacillus, Pediococcus, and Brettanomyces, or Brett, as the hip Americans like to call it. Brett is gonna be in here and in all of these beers. So then if you have lambics which have been spontaneously fermented and stored on oak for a number of years, and then you take lambics of different vintages and you blend them together until you get a blend you like you would with champagne or with a blended whiskey, then you get a Gueuze. And Oude Gueuze means that it's Gueuze made in the old or traditional style, which means there is no sugar added to it. There are a few modern lambic brewers, for example Bellevue, that's owned by Satan himself, or Anheuser-Busch as he's also known, which of course, where they of course try to ruin it and make it as bland as possible and add sugar and crap to it. But this is the real deal, and it's made by Hanssens, which is not a brewer. He is just they are just blenders. They don't brew their own lambic, but they buy it from the ones who do, like Cantillon and Boone and Girardin, for example. Then they store it in their own oak barrels, and they put out their own blends, but they're not brewers. There are much too few lambic brewers on this planet, so the people like me who really like it always have a hard time finding it. But when we do, it's always worth it. I prefer to drink these out of a wine glass, since they're so sour and really maybe have more in common with wine than beer, even though it is a beer. And it's got nothing strange added, it's just malt and water and hops. Though they do tend to age the hops when they make Gueuze, so they lose all their aroma. It's really all about the antiseptic qualities of the hops more than anything else. And as you can see, it's a lovely amber color, slightly hazy. It's got this. Personally, I associate wild yeast with apples. That's how I smell it in the sourdough as well, which is exactly the same. This and sourdough, same deal. Sourdough, you basically provide nutrition for the yeast and you wait for it to come. Then you got some of that Brett going on in here, some of that Band-Aids, definitely horse, sweaty horse, needs a shower. What's going on there? Now this is pretty young for Gueuze. It was bottled in November 2016. So it's very intense. I like it that way. This is not tart, it's sour. You can still taste a lot of the oak from the barrel, and there's quite a lot of Brett going in here, on in here. You look at the liquid, it's almost viscous. You look at how the bubbles kind of struggle to come up in it, it's a bit like a stock. Color wise, it could be like a chicken stock, roasted chicken stock. It's fascinating. And yeah, quite a lot of Brett. Horse, medical, industrial, plastic. Brett can sometimes taste like spices. It doesn't here. Here it's more the classic sweaty horse, bit of sweaty feet. More than anything sour, and the acidity, as it should be, comes primarily from lacto. And when it's lacto, it's like yogurt. It's very pleasant. But when the risk with spontaneous fermentation and wild yeast is that you can also get more or less acetic acid in your beer. And actually Brettanomyces, he has a tendency to increase the number of acetic acid, which, as we all know, is what we have in vinegar. And only crazy fucking vegan hippies like drinking vinegar. It's extremely unpleasant, especially a whole bottle like this. So if there's a lambic brewer of any skill who's been behind it, it should be lacto, and preferably no acetic acid, or very, very little. You shouldn't really get this vinegar feeling when it's fucking scorching your throat. This is a very pure example of a Gueuze. Textbook example, you could say. Hanssens is. And he's blended a real strong version. All the flavors are turned up real high, which means that this would be perfect to, if you wanted to age it yourself in your cellar. At home you could do this for years and years, probably for decades. You could try to age this and it would still be delicious. I prefer my Gueuze real wild and real rambunctious, so I like them like this, when it's almost like a fight to drink it, because it's real sour and it's real funky. And yeah, Hanssens, one of the in the top tier, together with Cantillon, together with Boone, together with Sheridan, Tilcan, for me. Yeah, those are ones. So if you can find it, buy it. It's probably going to be a bit expensive, but it's going to be worth it. Alright, goodbye for now, Internet.